All right, so we are going to review the binge watching article that you read a couple of weeks ago. Purpose of it is to review the parts of an argument because you are also going to review the parts of an argument in a binge watching scavenger hunt over the next couple of days. And then you're going to take all of that and you are going to go into your milestones argument. You're going to highlight all of these things that I'm going to point out in this article. If your article doesn't have them to highlight, you'll be able to add them and make any revisions necessary, submit it, and get a grade for that. So I told you we were going to do something with it. I wasn't lying to you. So let's just look right here at the title. It says binge watching, why we love it, why we must stop. A lot of times you will find a central idea or a claim in a title, and this is no different. Why we must stop. So clearly, the author is going to explain why we should stop binge watching. And if you look down here, I would for you to have a hook, but remember, you have to remember your purpose and your audience. This was written for teenagers to read. So using you, the word you, and giving this scenario is engaging. Um, but it's also a little informal. You don't want to do that on your argument, but you still want a good, interesting hook. So this one just talks about it's 9 p.m. You're planning to go to sleep soon. You have to be up at dawn for a basketball game, but you want to relax a bit before bed. Pull up your favorite YouTube channel, press play, goes down and gives a little bit more detail, then says, if this scenario sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, most Americans admit to binge watching. That is, watching multiple episodes of a TV show or devoting hour after hour to platforms like YouTube and TikTok in one sitting. Now, this author immediately choose what I would call a teaser because it says the occasional binge watch is fun and harmless. That is addressing the other side of the argument that it's okay to binge watch. And then she goes on to give a little bit of a rebuttal where she says, but experts are sounding the alarm. They're saying that all this screen time is making us tired and depressed. It's not a specific expert, but it's enough of a rebuttal and enough of an evidence to say, look, we have to stop binge watching because it's making us tired and depressed. And then she goes on to give more evidence here where this one is really good. This is a good example because or Lagos, where it says we don't binge watch simply because we can, though. We binge watch because our brains make it physically difficult to pull ourselves away. Here's the deal: when you feel pleasure, like when you bite into a gooey brownie or listen to your favorite song, you oh, let's scroll over here. Your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. That chemical is also released when you watch a video that you enjoy. Your brain really likes this rush of dopamine, so it eggs you on. One more, one more. So that's a good example of evidence to support why we shouldn't binge watch, because it's almost like if we're doing it, our brain's going to keep egging us on. So the more that we allow ourselves to do it, the more our brain is essentially going to get us in trouble. And then if you go down here, she gives a really good counterclaim and rebuttal. So right here, she says, binge watching isn't all bad. If you look right here, is zoning out with a good show can relax into your mind off your worries for a while. If you turn into happens a Super Bowl marathon, can be a fun way to socialize. That is a counterclaim. She is addressing the other side of the argument. She starts the article out by saying we stop watching, but here she says you know, but then she comes back with a rebuttal. This is what's important. I want you to remember about your rebuttal. Make sure you have concrete evidence in your rebuttal, because she says the problem arises when we binge all the time. A 2017 study found that people who binge regularly are more likely to be chronically tired because they stay up later. They are also more sedentary. Numerous studies have shown that sitting for long periods of time isn't good for our physical health. Then the fact that we often binge watch by ourselves, too much time alone in front of the screen leads to depression. That's rebuttal, and